Okay, so hopefully everything is working well now. All right, so in chapter 1, actually not chapter 1, in the top portion, if you look under the syllabus and the due dates and the class meetings, and then you see this. How many of you saw this grading rubric for discussion forums? Oh, yay, very good. Did you refer to it when you did your first discussion forum due last night? Yeah, okay. Anybody? All right, so I'll be a little lenient in my grading on this first discussion forum, but the whole purpose is for you to begin to speak like a scholar. It is not about opinions, right? When you are writing in your journal, then yes, that is all about opinion, okay? With backup and support to help understand your opinions and your experiences based on what you're learning in class. Discussion forums are designed for you to think critically and to speak with your classmates as colleagues. And colleagues, you know, comes from the word college. So what you are expected to do is to first record or posting your discussion forum post that is your own personal response days before the assignment's due. And then that way your classmates get to see what you wrote, all right? And you can't see what they wrote until you do that. That's by design, all right? So when you look at this grading rubric, this shows you exactly how it's going to be graded. And this is for all of the rubrics, especially for discussion forums. The big difference on the grading for your journals is I don't care about spelling or grammar. Or for your journals, you could just do a stream of consciousness and write what's in your brain and what's in your heart and your feelings, etc. You can cuss, you can do anything you want, you can add photographs, cartoons, memes, whatever. So that's a little bit different than what we have for one second, for discussion forums, okay? I apologize. We should never be waiting this long for us to actually start our content of our class. So shame on you for being late today. All right. So this is how it looks. And again, this is in your Moodle course, so don't forget to look at it. And this is the grade breakdown for the points on how I look at it. All right, well, you know where it is, okay? So make sure you read it. But what you will probably find even happier or more helpful is what's right underneath it. Because right underneath it is an actual sample with annotations. All right, to show you how it should be. So I've got all the redlining there that comments on why this particular posting was so good. And you can see all the reasons why. So it meets all the criteria that's explained on the checklist for the rubric. All right. So like I said, I will be very lenient this very first one, so don't panic, all right? But for your next ones, I will be harder. I want you to think like a college student. I want you to think not like you're just bullshitting with friends. I want you to think like you're reading the textbook, you're learning the theories, and you're having an intellectual discussion with each other, okay? Can you do that? I know you can. All right. So, turn this off. And now we're just going to go into this. Any questions? All right, so today we start a pretty meaty chapter on intrapersonal communication. And this is your self-talk. This is how you talk to yourself about yourself, right? To yourself and about yourself. All right, so we're going to do an activity in class, which is really kind of interesting. Most of my students really find it enlightening. So stay tuned because you're going to be doing that. And if you look at what's over on the right here, you're going to see what is the focus of today's talk. So we're going to get into a lot of theories, And those are the theories that you're going to want to refer to in your discussion forums. And they are going to explain how you think about yourself, and again, how you talk to yourself and about yourself, all right? So the first thing is to look at the building blocks. There are two outside components that explain the big picture. The big picture, number one, and we talked about this on Wednesday, is that you socially construct your reality, right? So remember how we talked about the word bitch? All right, and how it changes in meaning based on who says it, who you say it about or to, what is your tone of voice, what is the intent of the message, etc. All right, so you are constructing every minute of every day what is your reality. Now, the cool thing about this is that you can change your reality. You can modify it, you can learn from it, you can surround yourself with good and positive people, or you can sabotage yourself. You can make a poor construction of reality. Uh-huh. Did it fall into the thing? Oh. That poor bird. All right, so right now we're all sad about that. All right, so our reality for this moment is I used to teach in a Catholic school, and whenever we heard sirens, everybody would stop. Really nice. Anyway, let's see. That's a good. So the second part of this is what we call social comparison theory. Comp refers to comparison theory. How do you compare yourself against others? And you all do it. And we all do it all the time. And those of you on Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat, oh, Snapchat, who you surround yourself with. What?
You just said Snapchat is pretty much dead. Like
it is. Who uses Snapchat? Two of you still do. Okay. Is it your go-to, or do you use other ones? It's your go-to still? Oh yeah. Is it your go-to? Okay, you get with times. Okay.
Amazing. That's amazing that you know that.
Yeah, I'm a comm instructor. I'm supposed to know that. Oh my gosh, send me memes. I love memes. Memes are hilarious. All right, as long as they're appropriate. Well, kind of. All right, so when we compare ourselves to our social network, do we see ourselves as better than, equal to, or less than? And that comparison drives these elements. Your self-concept, your self-esteem, and your self-efficacy. Now, how many of you have been hearing the word efficacy like crazy in the news? Yeah? What's it been in reference to? Efficacy. Everybody's using it. It's used in context usually to talk about the vaccines, right? Its efficacy is 95%. Its efficacy is 98%, right? Well, your self-efficacy is how you view your ability to do what you want to do, all right? What is your perception, real or not, of your ability to do well? My friend over here right now, I'm going to stand here to help him stay awake, is struggling right now. All right? He had a party last night?
Yeah, think about it.
Okay, you hungover? My athletes don't take. We do other things. All right. So right now, he's struggling. He knows he should stay awake. He knows he can stay awake. But right now, he needs help. All right? So his self-efficacy, his ability to do it on his own, is somewhat down. All right? But what he did was he sat in the very front of the room. So being aware of his mental state right now, his sleep deprivation, his, you better never say I'm boring, all right? The effect of the teacher, he has placed himself in a situation that's going to raise his ability, his self-efficacy, his self-belief that he can stay awake, all right? So we can change these things. All right, what's with this side of the room? Just get off work. What? Just waking up, okay. This side of the room is our sleepy zone, all right? But that's okay. For today, right?
For today.
It's for today. No, it's okay. Well, we all have those days. Like I told you, I slept in today, which just screwed me up. All right. So let's take a look at what these mean by definition. And this is in your textbook. I'm going to give you the Kathy Kruska definitions. Self-concept is really, how do you see yourself? What's the perception you have of yourself? All right? If I was to describe myself to others, I would be describing the concepts that I have about myself, the beliefs that I have about myself. So like you notice that I am short. Okay, yes. I like to say I'm tiny, but mighty. All right. Now, the social comparison theory is you just, and you're tiny, you can't talk. And the social comparison is she was comparing me to her other mammoth teachers, all right? I, in my self-concept, do not see myself that way. So have any of you seen the cartoon where there's a little kitty cat looking in a mirror, and in the mirror the image is the lion, the big beautiful lion? That's self-concept, okay? That means that that little kitty cat's self-concept is, oh yeah, I'm mighty, I am the lion, right? So we always wonder, what is your self-concept? Hold the phone. Self-esteem. Self-esteem is how well do you like yourself? All right, I'm 4'10" and tricky. I used to travel a lot on business. And when I would get on an airplane with a colleague who was Shirley, who was our director of research and development for Orange Julius, we would have to fly all over the place because my job was to keep her stuff legitimate on the working operations line. Okay, I was the ops girl. She was the creative genius. She wanted to do all these fancy things to these foods and these Orange Julius drinks and smoothies, and I could say, no, that employee doesn't have time to do that. We can't afford to get that. Okay, so that was my job. So we traveled all over the place. I loved traveling with her. And the reason was because Shirley was 6 feet tall. Yes. So when it came time to put something in the overhead, in the airplanes, Shirley was my girl. All right? So when I look at my self-esteem, there are times when I don't really like being short. I wish I could be taller. All right? But then, when Shirley would walk into a meeting room, she walked into the meeting room, and everybody knew that Shirley had arrived. A little intimidating, especially back in the 1980s where women were still not quite as where we are today, all right? And so her intimidation factor caused her to have problems working with other males at the corporate office. And sometimes even males when we would go out to the restaurants in our test pilot restaurants, all right? Not me. When I walked into the room, it was, hi, how's it going? How are you guys? My stature and my demeanor, I got away with anything and everything.
I don't know why I laugh so hard.
What?
I said, I don't know why I laugh so hard.
I love it. You're supposed to. Because I did not intimidate. That was not my style. That was not what I wanted to do. All right, so remember last class we talked about compliance gaining strategies. She used size, volume, power, nonverbals, etc., to influence people, to get them to comply with her. I was nice. I was nice. I like to be nice. All right? And I always got what I wanted. Something to remember. When I teach business comm, I talk about you can get so much by being nice, legitimately and honest, straightforward, but there's nothing wrong with being nice. All right. So self-esteem. Self-esteem is really, what do I like about myself? I like that I'm a nice person. I like that I'm small when it's convenient. All right? I like that I'm a female when it's convenient. My husband reminds me that all the time, that I really like being a woman when it's convenient. It has to do with the car repairs, it has to do with the yard, etc. Self-efficacy is something that I've had to work on. Now, along with self-esteem, becoming okay with my size meant that I had to do a lot of work on it. So I've never, that's not true. I used to be really, really good in math. In high school, actually, in middle school, I was really good in math. Okay, now you guys are going to laugh at this. When I was in 8th grade, I was in an accelerated algebra program. And I was good. And I looked around the classroom. And I was one of 2 girls in the room. This is so ugly about me. Self-disclosure. The other girl in the room was like brainiac. And I wanted to be popular. I did not want to be a brainiac. So I did not associate myself with her. And over the next semester, I proceeded to dummy down. I dummied down my abilities in math. I did not do well on tests. I didn't study, didn't really do my homework. And so I was appropriately the next semester kicked out of the accelerated math program. All right? I won! Exactly. I did not. So my self-efficacy from that point forward was self-talk to say, I'm not good at math. You know, like those algebra equations that say find x. Well, there it is, right there. It's a little x. Figure it out. All right? And that hurt me for the rest of my life. Right? The only time I was able to get that good at math with a whole lot of work was with statistics, because it's all about finance and money. Okay? But that's different because that's finance. But algebra, I'm going to hire somebody to do that for me and know enough to make sure they're honest. All right, so our self-efficacy, we can sabotage our self-esteem and our self-concept. We can pull these down easily, all right? But we can also build them up, okay? So, did I do the man on the chair activity in this class yet? All right, we need a volunteer. Actually, we need 2 volunteers. Just stand up here. 2. There you go. 2 volunteers. Oh, this is going to be good. You got to stand up for now. Which, all right. And your name is again because I'm still learning. Kevin? Cody. Cody. I know Cody. Cody, you and I have been emailing. And you, my friend, all right? Huh. Who should I pick? Just, you don't need to know why. Just who should I pick? Cody? Cody? Stand on the chair. Jump. I think it'll be fine. You sit in it, it'll be fine. Oh, no, don't fall. But you gotta turn around. All right. You good? Now, I've never had anybody hurt themselves, so don't change my record. All right. You stand in front of them. Face to face. Now, you see how hard it is for a man to stand face to face? You know why? It's the aggressiveness. Okay? Because, see, he's still not doing it face to face. Because when you're face to face, it's like starting for a fight. Yeah, see? You know it. Okay? So males always have one leg over. We'll be learning about that a little bit later. Okay, but for now, all right, Cody, you have to follow my directions, and you have to follow my directions. All right? Cody, I want you to use only one hand. And I want you to pull that fine, tall man up on your chair to be there with you. You can't help him. You cannot lift your leg. He's going to pull you up there.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, wow. Oh, now, if we're not interested, you won't even touch his hand?
Oh, I can touch it, like,
Oh, you can touch his hand.
oh, I can't lift my leg.
That's right.
They don't have whole hands.
No, I know. Grab his hand and see if you can pull him up.
There you go.
I can't lift my leg.
No. All right, stop. Okay, very good. Now, I would like for you, Zach, with one hand only. He can't do anything. Pull him off that chair.
It's going to be a lot easier.
doing?
Great, I'm
Oh,
like,
I get it though. I get what you're trying to do.
What did you figure out?
Basically, it's easy to tear yourself down, but not easy.
Trying to build yourself
Yeah.
up.
Okay, absolutely. And that's half of the equation. It's easy to pull yourself down. It's so easy to do it. All right? But look how hard it is to pull yourself up. Okay? But that's only half of it. What's the other half?
People around your, yeah. Stuff.
It is really easy for other people to pull you down. It's so easy for you to be around people who will take you off that chair, take you off that pedestal. But it's hard to surround yourself with people who will bring you up. So who do you choose? So for your journal and for the next chapter, I want you to think about that. I want you to think every day, at the end of the day, who among your family and friends, because family can be just as bad, if not worse, than friends, and coworkers, who among you pulled you up this week? You better say me. All right? But who brought you down? Who brought you down? Now, there is the humbling factor. Sometimes we have to be humbled, all right, as long as it's followed up with a bring you up. So when we talk about constructive criticism, we do that with what's called the sandwich method. I'm going to give you a piece of criticism, I'm going to give you a piece of praise, meaningful, legitimate praise. I'm going to sandwich in there something that you can work on. But you know it, I am going to end with praise to say, you can do it. Your self-efficacy will enable you to do it. You can do it, right? So for this next activity, everybody needs to pull out a piece of paper. And video land, I'm going to turn off the computer and I'm going to give you the assignment online.